Hello and welcome. We are broadcasting live from GlobalNutriPreneurs, the premier global gateway and unified operating system transforming the future of global agri-food economy. Today, the global food system stands at a critical crossroads. While the demand for functional health, wellness, and nutritional security is expanding exponentially, early-stage innovators face massive roadblocks, fragmented supply chains, opaque cross-border regulations, and a staggering volume of unvetted noise that isolates brilliant founders from institutional capital. The cost of this friction isn't just measured in lost revenue. It is measured in the unacceptably high rate of global food waste and systematic nutritional insecurity. Promoted by the Global Council for Agri-Food Trade and Innovation and the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, Global Nutripreneurs was engineered to dismantle these barriers. We are moving decisively past passive business directories. Powered by a robust digital operating system featuring AI-driven founder-mentor matching, automated regulatory compliance hubs, and an integrated virtual deal room, we are systematically transforming high-potential ventures into scalable investment-grade nutri-businesses. Our ecosystem operates across six integrated strategic pillars, uniting a dedicated global R&D network, shared physical infrastructure via decentralized common facility centers, and an ESG-compliant trade and investment marketplace. Right now, our team is executing a massive global pipeline evaluation, reviewing over 10,000 agriculture, food, and nutrition businesses across more than 150 countries. Our mission is clear: to uncover the elite innovators shaping the next era of wellness, unlock friction-free global market access, and actively drive a 40% reduction in global post-harvest food losses. Today, as part of our Global Food, Agriculture, and Nutrition Forum series, we are mapping out the blueprints of this agriculture revolution. Joining us is a leader whose work sits at the very frontier of this transformation. Please welcome to the global stage our guest for today, Amlan Sujit Roy Choudhury. Has 18 plus
Hi, good evening.
of experience in the agro industry. He initially devoted 10 plus years of his career in IPM and IFM activities in Indian agriculture ecosystem and supplies for fresh fruits and vegetables and spices to Europe, US, Australia, and Canada market. Also, in the next 8 years, he has experienced sales and marketing of agriculture products in the international market. His experiences bring hands-on knowledge and application on global good agriculture practice managed at farms, including pesticides for MRL compliance meeting, EU STD, or Codex in general. In his earlier career phase, he has worked extensively with farmers in exporting pomegranates, mangoes, vegetables including baby corn, okra, gourds, chilies, and also spices, which include celery seeds, cumin, red chilies, turmeric, etc. globally. Thank you for joining us today to help shape the future of global entrepreneurs. I now request you to kindly proceed with your presentation. Over to you.
Thank you, Grishika. Thank you for the introduction. So today I am going to present an overall purview of the value chain addition, which is the necessity of the hour for any agricultural product that is being exported or even in the transaction for domestic market purview. So myself, Amlan Roy Choudhury, I have almost 18 years work experience in the industry in various agriculture product domains, including fresh fruits, vegetables, spices, and now food flavors. So I worked in fresh produce industries, including Maharashtra State Agriculture Marketing Board. And then onward, I worked with key industry leaders like ITC in the spices segment and with food flavors now with a multinational called Givaudan. So I have in my career span also attended various sessions and also fortunate to go through various industry interface programs, which was conducted by NIFTEM and such renowned institutes in India. And also I have gone through various courses to make myself educate on sustainability and the best practices. So these are some of the participation details that have happened eventually over the last few years, which I have done in the scale of knowledge extension for fruits and vegetable exports, good agriculture practices, as well as spices best management for the crops. So coming to value chain in agro commodities. So the contents will include value chain, then horticulture brief, supply of exports in value chain, the scope, and the summary of presentation. So why is value chain required? So the process and activities which adds value to the product is what the value chain simply refers to. So anything which the farmer produce should add some value to its product so that the farmer is able to channelize the product with a larger value added to the price segment and additional market scope of the product. So the value chain, if we see, it flows from customer to the product. It is the other way of supply chain. So it's not typically the product going to the customer, but is something which is added to the value as per the request of the customer. So let's say any of the product which is selling in the form, let's say onion. So onion in the raw form going to the market, to the mandi, and then to the table of customer is not a value addition. It is as it is being the crop which has been brought to the market because the harvest season is done, and now the farmer want to sell it to the market at the best price which is available, and then forward to the customer or the mandi. So the value chain comes in the other way when there is a requirement where the customer needs something which is a onion powder, a peeled onion, a kind of dehydrate onion, where the customer needs that value. So how we will add value to that product by diversifying the product quality into various attributes like dehydrates onion by using the various technologies which are available at farmer scale or at MSME scale or at larger scale. So that is what the value addition is, which will definitely bring a better price to the product which is fetched, because this is a ask from customer and not something which is being sold to customer because you have to sell it. So that's what in simple language the value addition is. A value chain is about the linkage generating value to the customer, which I said in my previous present slide. So farmers are isolated from consumers in various sense. Especially, I have seen this in my experience in fresh fruits and vegetables, where the farmers who grows the vegetables or the fruits typically have to do the harvest and then produce it to the market at that time because he cannot store it any further because that is the shelf life of the product, and then he has to sell it at particular price which is available on that date or at market. So again, at this stage, it is very clear that the farmer is not able to acknowledge whatever he deserves a price for that product. It is acknowledged basis the market demand of that product. Whatever the market values the product on that date, the farmer has to give the product and get that, fetch that price. On the value addition part, it goes the different way, where the farmer adds value to the product and the customer ask is accordingly, and then it gets at a better pricing scenario and a better market scenario. So the shift in focus from producer to consumer is the approach which is required in the value chain. So this is a typical horticulture value chain where we can see how from the farm the process line moves forward till the factory and till the certification and value addition of that product. So in simple terms, you can see there is a farmland from where the farms are producing the agriculture commodities. It is getting packed, it is getting to the pack house, then there is a transport, and there is a retail shop, and in and around urban market, and all those going on. So you are adding handling to that product. By handling also, if you are adding value to that product, it will make a better sense. And that's what the horticulture value chain demands today. So what are the typical challenges in horticulture sector? It's a higher input cost, which is creating a crisis. Let it be fertilizer, let it be any kind of pesticides which are being sprayed. The cost is getting higher with the infestation pesticides. All these are getting more into the market because there is a prevailing condition where the soil quality is declining. There's a lot of climatic change which is factoring in. So small farmers are complaining a lot about these attributes which are creating a complication in the market in terms of pricing benefits and the linkage of best quality price. So to reduce this kind of attributes, we see value chain creation as a major source. And now this particular slide shows how the product, which is a fresh fruits and vegetable, can be processed into dried, frozen, preserved, and juice and pulps. Now with the metro cities demanding a lot of frozen items to be packed so that they are ready to eat, and those kind of concepts which are coming in the market, it is quite good an opportunity for the farmer or a set of FPOs who can drive into this kind of segment where they can go for a dehydrated product or a frozen product where it can be kept for a better shelf life and will be available in the market for a longer time. So this has a lot of distribution and marketing opportunities, as we can see supermarkets, food services, imports and wholesale, small scale retailers, all those benefiting out of this addition of value chain. So the traditional versus the modern value chain. The concept goes very clearly in the traditional concept. It is majorly the commission agent or the wholesaler who plays a typical role in the whole value chain because they are the handlers in between the farmers and the customers. But again, when you see in the modern value chain, there are consolidation centers, there are hubs, there are dark stores, then there are like semi-processing units which attributes to all these concepts, and then it goes for even exports or higher grade of market. So what are the enablers of a effective value chain? In the integration function, the enabler is the producer, commission agent, processor, those involved in storage or financing or insurance agent should be in sync altogether. That is one of the attributes. For value addition, the processor and packing are the two most important element which adds up to the high value cost crop scenario. Similarly, the function of infrastructure development, a lot of pack house development has to happen. The cold chain infrastructure has to be developed if you want to have a better value chain. Then you have to have better transportation agencies for the disposal of the products. For market development, there should be more pack houses or export economic zones in purview. R&D is a capability for the development. So both it goes to the ownership of private sector as well as public sector. It should be an initiative from both the sectors so that more number of initiatives on the R&D can be developed because value chain demands a lot of research and development to add on. So there are little advantages and again disadvantages of the old value chain as compared to the modern value chain, which are being depicted on this slide. So there is a improvement in the good agriculture practices. So when it comes to the development of a higher value chain product, so you have to enable a higher grade of good agriculture practices in your farm, in your production capabilities, so that it is quite visible that you are doing a higher value added product. So India, as we know, is the second most largest producer of the fruits and vegetables in the industry all over. And we export a lot of fruits and vegetables from India, but there is also a lot of perishables getting destroyed. The reason being, so when you are not able to keep those particular product in the shelf or in the godown or in the warehouse for longer period of time, the reason being your technical inabilities are not upgraded. So that's the concern where you see that a lot of things are not moving further. So that gives a attribute that you have to make it more in the value addition concept so that things are better in that scope and you get a better opportunity to work in that market. So there are various certification which happens for a typical value addition concept. There are global gap certificates, there are health certificates, there are APIDA and other authorities who are doing a lot of packhouse certification and those kind of products. So these are something very essential for any value added premises. So what are good agriculture practices? The good agriculture practices goes to the farm, then goes to the field. So it's using mulching or GFAP techniques. It includes buffer zones. It includes precision irrigation techniques. It includes IPM practices. It includes calibration of the machines which are in place, the medical checkups of the people who are working in that farm. All these are attributed to the good agriculture practices. So there are various selection and standards which are used for the process of checklisting those good agriculture practices. So those you can see the water soil records, contract forms, agronomic activities, schedule fertigation methodologies. All these are checklists that are required for the good agriculture practices scenario. So these are some pictorial representation of the farms which are having maintaining that good agriculture practices for getting a value added product from the farms. So there are fennel traps. There are a lot of measures to rectify pest infestation or degradation of the quality of the crop. Mulching practices. So this is important that it evaporation rate from the soil. There are sticky traps to study the pest infiltration on the fields. vermicomposting, which is always a good methodology. The type of spraying, the sprayers which are used in the farms, usage, the better the mechanical effective the spraying will be. So these are some of the best practices that are being used. Green sheds, greenhouses, how you dispose of the pesticides which are being utilized in the farms. So all these are small but very good and effective practices to maintain a quality standard of the crops. Quarantine practices, which are very important. So these are some product specification of the products which are being exported out of India, and now we have to see there are a lot of specifications which we have to comply. Like let's say in okra, 9 to 11 centimeter, the size, shape, pesticide, MRLs, all these compliance are very important. Similarly for gourds, similarly for pomegranates, so pack house practices, as I told. So these are some of the initiatives which we take generally for exporting to value-added products to destination market. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amlan, for sharing your valuable insights with the Global Nutripreneurs community. That was an engaging and thought-provoking presentation. I'd now like to ask you a few questions to dive a little deeper into your experience and perspective.
Please.
With 10 years plus experience devoted to be integrated pest management and integrated farming management in India, what are the most effective farm level interventions you've used to transition smallholder farmers towards strict maximum residue limit compliance for stringent export markets like the US, EU, and Canada?
Yeah, see, there are IPM measures which are to be taken at various domains. Let's say if it is IPM or IFM. So the farm interventions as have been depicted over the slides also. So there are a lot of process and steps which you have to follow in the small activities which you do in the farm, like spraying, like pest infiltration. All those activities have to be controlled in a well-ordered sense. So that makes it more towards the IPM or IFM concept to purview.
Thank you for sharing that perspective. That's a very valuable insight again. Building on that, I'd like to move to my next question. Exporting fresh produce such as pomegranates, mangoes, baby corn, okra, and chilies requires precise post-harvest handling and cold chain management. What key operational strategies have enabled you to maintain product quality and minimize post-harvest losses across long-distance international trade routes?
So Grishika has correctly said, pomegranates, mangoes, these are perishable products which requires a very precise handling and cold storage management for the shelf life keeping of the product. So what enables this are the strategies directly at the farm. Let it be kind of zero cold storage units, which are small scale units, which are operated by the farmers themselves, or at the FPO level, they can create this kind of smaller units so that when the handling is done for the mangoes after the harvest with the crates and then they are positioned in the pack house, so they can create some kind of environment which is controlled and which can increase the keeping life of the product. From there itself, it starts. Once the handling starts from the farm and the harvesting is completed, we have to ensure the best of the keeping quality so that the perishable commodity is able to have the best shelf life. So along with that, what minimizes the post-harvest losses, which is also a part of your question. So the post-harvest losses can be minimized by a better harvesting technique. So to understand how the pomegranate has to be harvested, at what time it should be matured, understanding the maturity of the product, the right time of harvest, and what is the pattern of harvest, how you take out those crops from the field, how you handle it during the harvest, after you put that in the crates or in the bags, how you are going to take it to the pack house. Is it a quite a good truck or a small bullock cart? That even matters because each handling, each stage through which this particular crop is being shifted increases or multiplies the number of handling and the number of damages. So to decrease that, you have to understand all this point in very well was details. Yeah.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. Moving on to our next question. The global spices market faces severe scrutiny regarding pesticide adherence and Codex/EU standards. How have you navigated these regulatory hurdles when managing sales, marketing, and farmer networks in competitive international markets?
Thank you for this question, Grishika. So the answer to it is don't say these are hurdles. These regulatories are definitely a growth parameter. So whoever is able to comply this growth parameter will success in the market. So I do not see this question as a hurdle. It's how you tackle these regulatory parameters and adopt yourself to those regulatory parameters. Let it be codex, let it be UMRLs, because the compliance factor is important. What is MRL? MRL is maximum residue level of that pesticide in that particular product. So if you spray a particular pesticide on a product, let it be mango, let it be pomegranate, there is a defined MRL, which is the maximum residue limit. So upon harvest, there are X number of days, let it be 7 days or 10 days, after which it will come below that particular range and you can take this safely for consumption. So that is what technically MRL stands for. So when we comply to it, we are safe. So we have to understand, we have to take this question in another way. We have to say that these are not hurdles, these are the benchmarks which we should attain so that we are able to standardize the industry and regulate the crops in a better sense, and it goes for a food safe market. So I definitely look at such compliances as a good scope, and there are restrictions, yes, but those restrictions help us improve our crop quality. So definitely going forward with the climate change, there are a lot of pesticide compliances which are impacting in each crop. Let it be grapes, let it be pomegranates, where we can see with the change in climate, with the change in weather, day-to-day weather, there are a lot of pesticides which were not included earlier in the pesticide spray schedules are coming in the spray list now. So to adhere that and how to manage the MRL is a quite difficult question, which the technology part or which the agronomy part has to answer. So it goes to the research scientist or to the research centers to understand the local parameter of that crop and how the sustainability will increase with a better pesticide management.
Thank you for
Thank you.
highlighting that. That leads us nicely to the next topic. You have previously engaged in agri-value chain discussions of national forums like NIFTEM and NABARD. How can constitutional forums and EXIM industry leaders better bridge the gap between high-level trade policy and practical ground-level adoption of global gap by farming communities?
Yeah, to answer this, I would say there should be a regular interface between education and industry. That makes more sense because the industry people will come to know about the updates on the technology from the education sector. And for education sector, it's very important so that they can understand how the industry pattern are developing on the day-to-day or year-to-year basis, so that they can adopt their education or their benchmarking of understanding based on the practical scenarios which are being driven by the industries. So to answer this, I would say this is a concept which should be more focused upon in the years to come, so that the interface between the education and the industry goes on increasing, and there are kind of concepts where both educationalists as well as industrialists should come to a same platform, do it on the R&D scale, so that research and development is something which need a lot of scale up in our country, and this interface will definitely help in the research and development sector.
Those are some excellent points. Let's explore another important aspect. As you look to connect with the Global Nutripreneurs platform, how do you plan to leverage your 18 plus years of EXIM agro industry experience, specifically in MRL compliance, farm to export supply chains, and market access, to mentor emerging nutri businesses, educate farmer collectives, and drive sustainable agri-food trade through industry interface programs?
See, to answer this, I would say, Grishika, the important point is whatever the learnings are, that should be back to the industry, that should be back to the education list. So I would like to utilize whatever learnings I had from my industry experience back to people who want to garner this or who want to pioneer in the field of agriculture domain. So my best learnings, whatever I have inculcated was my previous work experiences or with my experience with the farmers, with the exports unit, or with my customers at different countries in Europe, in Canada, in Australia, or in emerging markets like Middle East. So wherever I have learned all those, and I want to exchange those ideas with a set of people who are interested in that part. So this will also help me learn from those people who will make me more aware of the new concepts which might be trending in the industries, that will help me take my outlook in a different reach.
I think that gives our audience a lot to reflect on. What an incredible masterclass of a conversation. Thank you for sharing your blueprints with us today. Your profound insights reinforce exactly why global entrepreneurs exist, to bridge the critical gap between commercial
Thank you.
profitability and sustainable social impact. To everyone tuning in across our global network, whether you're an innovator, an investor, or a policymaker, the path to plugging into this unified agri-food operating system is clear. For agri-food entrepreneurs and founders, stop struggling in isolation. Fast track your venture through our customized scaling pathways, leverage our AI-driven mentor matching, and utilize our automated regulatory compliance hubs to make your business cross-border ready. For accredited investors, eliminate the noise of unvetted pipelines. Access our pre-evaluated investment-grade neutral businesses directly through our integrated virtual deal room and secure your stake in the next era of health and wellness. For industrial and academic partners, collaborate with us. Let's unlock deep tech innovation through our global agri-food, nutrition research and development forum, and actively build a more equitable system by championing leadership at our Women in Food, Agriculture and Nutrition Forum. Together, we can maximize our global networks and deploy decentralized common facility centers to actively drive that 40% reduction in global food post-harvest food losses. The future of the global agri-food economy is no longer about survival. It is about sustainable nutrition, scientific excellence, and friction-free global trade. Visit globalnutripreneurs.com to secure your application, verify your venture, and claim your place in the future of food innovation. Thank you for joining us on Global Nutripreneurs. Until next time, keep innovating, keep scaling, and build with impact. Thank you. Have a good day.